Hey, welcome to episode 7 of the Outta Bounds podcast. You're rocking with 2/3 of the crew this week. Unfortunately, I got Donovan. He had some issues as far like with scheduling, but he'll be back next week. But for those of you that are new here for the first time, this normally is a big three. But like I said, we're rocking with two of us today. But like I said, just hit that like button for us if you're new. Hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell. It really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. And also it will help you out because then you'll be notified every time a new video is up on the channel. Now with that said, my name is Adele the Fashionista, current manager editor here at True Culture Magazine, aka James Harden. And I'm here alongside my boy. Introduce yourself.
Hey, this is no Austin, aka Kyrie, aka Afro, aka the third eye is always open. So,
There's another one, bro.
There's another one. Damn, I forgot.
AKA Mr. Euro Step 2, your girl.
I forgot. AKA Ice Trader Gang, AKA Ice Trader Gang, AKA AKA we hold it down for Atlanta. So yeah, Austin writer, contributor, True Urban Culture. And I'm here. This is Outta Bounds. I'm here consecutive. This is the third day. I'm here on time.
Consecutive week.
Third consecutive week, guys. This is a pretty good hot. I got a hat trick right now. So let's hope we keep it.
Let's go for that Joe DiMaggio. That Joe DiMaggio 56K.
Man, but let's hope it keeps going straight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all right, man. You started off with kind of like a little jab with the whole Ice Trey thing, man. Like Ice Trey, Trey Young, but Ken, the New York Knicks.
Hey, man. We in Atlanta. Atlanta's hot right now. We hot. The city's hot, but Trey Young is Ice Trey right now. But the city loves it, man.
You kind of putting me in a situation where I got to kind of be politically correct. Because Atlanta, that's the home turf for True Urban Culture. So I can't say nothing bad about my people out there in Atlanta. I would just say this. Y'all are the most fair weather fans out there. And y'all did some grimy shit during that game yesterday.
Hey, man. Same, man.
That place was not that packed. You had to pipe in crowd noise.
Hey.
I want to be MSG so bad, bro.
Nah, see, it's not Atlanta. It's Atlanta. The dirty. So we gonna pipe up. We gonna do what we do. You know what I'm saying? When we winning, but when we losing, we gonna let you know that hey, y'all suck right now. Like, we gotta.
Now when you lose it, this what y'all do when y'all losing. Y'all don't show up. That's what.
For sure. We not paying our money. We not paying our hard-earned money.
Y'all don't show up.
Nah, bro. We go drag race the Dodge Chargers and hell. Okay, outside, bro. We not gonna watch y'all be sorry. See, that's the thing. Whenever the Hawks be sorry, hey man, but see, here's the thing about the city. If you're in Atlanta, if the Hawks are ever asked, the high school games are more piped up. When Colin Sexton was there, when Kobe Simmons was there, when Jaylen Brown played in high school, they all played when I was like a freshman, sophomore in high school. When the Hawks were asked, that's where you went on the weekends. You went to Wheeler, you went to Pebblebrook to go watch them boys ball because that was way more fun than watching the Hawks be ass. And it's only like $7 for a high school game rather than spending a lot. No, nigga, I'm going to watch Jaylen Brown play. We're gonna go watch a high school kid play.
Oh, I forgot Jaylen Brown from Atlanta.
Yeah, buddy went to Wheeler High School.
That's my dude. Shout out to Jaylen Brown. Shout out to the Boston Celtics. More on the Celtics.
No, they racist, but I don't know about that. I don't know about myself.
Actually, you know what? Fuck it, man. Let's get into it. I think that's a good segue right there. Speaking, you claim that the Boston Celtics are racist. Granted, there's been many players that come out to say that, but also there's been some players that have defended Boston, such as Mr. Kevin Garnett, the Hall of Famer, the big ticket himself. For those of you guys that don't know what we're talking about, last night during the Boston Celtics playoff loss last night to the Brooklyn Nets in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. After the game, Kyrie Irving was belted with a water bottle by a fan, and charges have been pressed against that fan. He's faced felony charges, and he's also banned for life from the TD Garden.
You're about to get fed time for a water bottle.
I don't know. It's crazy. But prior to that, There's been an incident at Madison Square Garden where a fan essentially spat at Trae Young. Ice Trae.
That doesn't happen in Atlanta. Just like we do not heckle the fan. We don't not heckle players here in Atlanta. Just like
y'all barely have fans, period, bro. Like chill out with that.
Hey, we're not gonna do that right now. But all right, continue.
But y'all barely have fans. And then prior to that, we had an incident where a fan threw popcorn at Russell Westbrook. So that brings us to our first topic for today. What should the NBA do to protect their players from fans? Is there anything
we need a Mouse in the Palace part 2, 3, and 4 because y'all getting too comfortable. Y'all getting too comfortable, heckling these players, right? I've been to basketball. I've been to a lot of basketball games. I've been to a lot of sporting events. I've played in a lot of the sporting events. Me being at sporting events, like there's a line. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been to basketball games where we heckled, we trolled. I know we played one high school. We were in the stands. One dude was like trying to make a free throw. We'll say like his girlfriend's name or something like trying to troll him. Like there's trolling and there's being a fan. I get it, but there's certain things where you get to a professional level that is just you stepping over the line. Like you testing someone's manhood. Like when Russell Westbrook was in Utah and that dude said what he said to Russell Westbrook. Any person with like confidence and security with themselves is gonna feel some type of way. And they try to make Russell Westbrook. They try to paint Russell Westbrook as like, why would he do this? It's like no, like you're trying a grown man at work. Like you have to understand these athletes, they're at work. This is their job, and if you have never played a sport, if you've never been an athlete, you're in a different state of mind. Adrenaline's running. You're trying to focus on one goal. Someone gets in your way of that, you're going to snap on somebody. So it's like, are we really surprised that they retaliate or they act the way they do when popcorn gets thrown at them or like people say certain things to them? Like, no, I get it. Russell Westbrook is a passionate player. Him being number one, the first incident was a popcorn. He's a passionate person. When it comes to either fashion, his basketball, or whatever, Russell Westbrook is going to be passionate. So, I saw the way he was upset. I was like, yo, I would be upset too. So I think for the NBA has to set some guidelines or something because there's one thing being a fan. There's one thing if you're going to talk to a player. There's one thing if you're going to heckle them, troll them. Drake did it. Spike Lee does it. A lot of people that troll players. And it's fun, and that's part of the game. But there's a line. There's a thin line between trolling and disrespect. And I feel like these fans are really tiptoeing on what is trolling and what is disrespect.
They're going way above the line. Way above the line. It's one thing to say "fuck you, Trae Young" or like Trae Young's balding, but to like spit at Trae.
Yo, fam, you from New York. You from New York. Anyone spit on you, you lacing up them Timbs right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They spit on you and your fresh, hot chopped cheese. Oh, yeah, y'all bugging. Y'all fighting. He said,
the all black Air Forces, they all coming out.
Man, wintertime, it's the all black Timbs. Like, it's going to be, something's going to pop off. So it's like if someone, like my thing is, if you take what they do and you do it to someone, a random person in the city, if you spit on someone, they're fighting you. If you throw something at somebody in public, they're most likely going to have a problem with it. So what makes these fans think that throwing popcorn at one freak athletes, number one, clearly they can beat your ass. Russell Westbrook, 6'3", pretty yoked up for a point guard. He could probably beat somebody's ass. Like Russell Westbrook's beating somebody's ass. Like that's not even a question. So it's like if you wouldn't do this,
what about
in public? Kyrie probably gonna pray for somebody.
You don't got the type. You don't got the type to like pray over a crystal or some shit.
That man does a holistic. He does like the holistic thing where he does like this and like he's like praying a circle of crystals and just like so. But I get it. I mean, some people are pacifists. I understand it. Like some people are really zen to where that stuff doesn't bother them. But my thing is, again, to these fans, if you would not do this to Russell Westbrook in public on the street, why are we doing this right now? He can beat your ass.
Trying to catch a lick.
Try to catch a lick.
Like basically, I like beat my ass so I could sue you. That's basically all it is. That's what I think it is. That's all. That's the only logical conclusion that I could come to. Because I'm like, how do we not learn anything from the malice at the palace?
It's in the palace, and I just saw like that video on Twitter like last night, and they like they just like shake people. Like Steven Jackson was beating niggas at like Steven Jackson and Ron Artest were fighting niggas. So it wasn't just,
that.
and I'm only 21, so I don't really remember that. But watching the video and my dad talk about it, like I'm just thinking, oh yeah, they went to the stands, they shook some people, like they beat them niggas, like they were punching people. Like I'm surprised did they even get charged? Like did they get like charged? Like
I think they was like suspended. Are you talking about the players or the fans?
Like I mean both. Like did anyone get charged? Like
the legal players face like heavy suspensions. I know that much.
Yeah, I mean, like they were, but I mean, maybe that has to happen for people to understand. Like these are still people, and I hate the notion when it comes to athletes. And I think we're gonna touch on Naomi Osaka later, but when it comes to athletes, like yo, yes, this is their job. Yes, they signed up for this, but they're still people. Like I don't understand where this comes from with fans, where it's like, okay, just because you watch them, just because they play a game and they paid a lot of money, that does not take away the fact that they're still human. Like Russell Westbrook is still human. Trae Young, Kyrie, all these people are still human with human emotions. If someone disrespects them in a certain way, of course they're going to feel a way about it, and they may react to it. That's just a human thing that people do. So I hate that notion where it's like, oh, well, you make a certain amount of money by doing something that's relatively easy that, whatever, you should be happy. Like, that's bullshit. Like, let's just call it's bullshit because they're still human. That doesn't take away the fact that, like, that doesn't negate the fact, okay, he makes $100 million for dribbling a ball. That doesn't negate the fact that he's still human. That's fucking stupid.
So like, you pay to see him. Like, you pay to see me do perform.
It's dumb. Yeah, it's like going, like, my thing is like, take these same people and treat it like the opera or a theater or something. Are you gonna, if someone in the opera theater mess up, are you gonna heckle them? Are you gonna spit at them? Are you gonna throw popcorn or whatever at them because they messed up or because of whatever? Like, it's kind of like the same thing. Like, yes, sports fans, you heckle, you jeer, that's fine. But again, they're still human beings. And when you spitting at somebody, throwing stuff at them is degrading them as human, and that just isn't right. So anyone's going to feel some type of way about it. And I think they said, like, Kyrie, like, oh, well, Kyrie kind of called for it when he went to the Boston Celtic, and, like, I think he, like, scraped his foot
on the logo.
Logo.
Yeah, and I mentioned about KG. Like, that's what Kevin Garnett was talking about in his IG story. Like, are we just going to look past the fact that Kyrie basically stomped all over Lucky? Because that's the name of the Celtics.
Who the fuck cares, bro? It's hardwood. Like, it's hardwood. Like, if you put your whole life and passion into a fictional sports logo, my dude, you got to either go out there, talk to some women, or socialize. Because I don't understand why that, like, I get having team pride and team spirit, but it's hardwood. It's a logo.
I get it, bro. But sometimes these team logos, that's as sacred as the American flag to some people.
Yeah. Okay. But like, see,
it's like college football, right? Because it's like college football. Because I'm a University of Miami Hurricanes fan. Shout out to the U. Right? It's like them playing against Florida State, and they just stomping on the logo. Like, obviously, the Florida State player, they're gonna take offense to it. My thing is, I don't understand why no Celtic came up to Kyrie like, yo, like, that's not happening. Because fuck the logo for a second. All right, fuck the logo. My thing is, this man is basically, your former teammate is basically disrespecting you on your court.
Y'all ain't shit. He's like, nah, y'all niggas ain't shit. Kyrie's like, bro, I know I play here, but y'all, I don't know about y'all, bro.
Celtic pride is supposed to be a thing, and it seems like the fans have more pride than the players.
Boston is racist. Boston is racist. The city's racist, man.
I get that, but also at the same time, but I look at it like this. I feel like some fan bases, especially Boston, I feel like they make exceptions with certain people. Certain people. Like for instance, Kevin Garnett is forever loved in Boston because he brought them a chip. Paul Pierce brought them a chip. Ray Allen brought them a chip, but I don't think they feel him that much because he went to the Miami Heat. Big Papi from the Dominican Republic, Boston Red Sox legend.
Big Papi's not black. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right, that's a future topic.
I'm not black. I'm not black. Papi, I'm Dominican. I'm kidding.
That's a future topic for that's a future topic for Tech Talk.
Shout out to all my Dominican people. We love you. You still black. You get stopped by the police, bro. It's still going. You know, it don't matter. It doesn't matter.
Shout out to all my Dominicans. Shout out to all my Cubanos. Shout out to all my Boricuas. Shout out to everybody out there.
Hey. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the Bronx, man. We got that last flavor out here. We got that last flavor out here.
Nah, but I mean, the exception thing. I mean, that's what. I mean, I grew up in the suburbs. Like, I've been an exception all my life. Like, that doesn't mean what they're doing is right, though. Like there are people that have prejudice or are racist. Well, oh, KG, he's one of the good ones. I've heard that since I've been in elementary school. Just because you fall in line with how they do things, that makes you a good one.
That's valid.
Is that real? Like, is that really a good thing to say? Like, KG, like, oh my God, in Boston, they love me. It was like, yeah, because you didn't do nothing to make them angry. But what if you were really KG? What if you really yourself from wherever you from? Or are they really gonna fuck with that? Are they really gonna be with you?
I have to push back on a little bit on that because KG, he was always himself in Boston. He even basically told Danny Ainge, because I remember this on the All the Smoke podcast interview that he did. He basically said to Danny Ainge, like, bro, like, first of all, you gonna talk to me as a man first. I'm not one of those little yes boys. I'm not Paul Pierce. I'm not like Bird. I'm not Robert Parrish. I'm not none of these dudes that came over here. You're not gonna just talk to me as Kevin Garnett, the basketball player. You're gonna talk to me as Kevin Garnett, the man. So I think he was I think he was accepted for who he was. He wasn't like no Uncle Tom or no Uncle Ruckus and no shit like that in Boston.
Yeah.
I just feel like with Kyrie Irving, like, it's first of all, no fan has the right to throw anything at a player whatsoever.
But
especially because there's a butt coming. There's a butt coming. But
I can hear it.
I feel like Kyrie Irving, he kind of like gaslights most of these situations, so to speak. Because for one, before this series started, he basically called out the fans. So he automatically made himself a target. Talk about racism and all that in Boston. He basically, because my whole thing is this is how it goes in like sometimes the energy that you put out there in the universe, what you're gonna get back. So Kyrie, he put that out there to the point like, hey, like these fans over here, they're racist fucks. They don't like black people, whatever case it may be. So he automatically made himself a target. And then last night, he's basically stomping, like wiping his feet on the logo, adding more gaslight to the fire. So it's like Kyrie, like, bro, like you're not all like Grant. I know it's kind of petty, like it does not warrant what happened. Luckily, it didn't hit him. By the way, that's by the grace of God. But it's like, come on, bro, like you're not innocent in this. You know what I mean? It's like somebody it's almost like somebody getting in your face, right, and kind of antagonizing you, and then you get tired, and then that person smack you in the face, and then you going around saying, "About you see what I mean?" It's like that's kind of what he did.
Yeah, I mean, I see that point. I mean, should Kyrie have went to center court and like I saw the video and it wasn't like anything dramatic. I don't think he went like stomped on the face, but he went to the center court and like kind of wiped his sneaker on the thing and just dapped up somebody and walked off. And my thing is, again, being an athlete, like I get your point where it's like, yeah, Kyrie shouldn't have went to center court and did that. And yeah, that maybe probably could have warranted the bottle being thrown. But I mean, again, as an athlete, I get it. You play in a place where you don't like. I get where Kyrie's coming from because it gives you an edge. Because you played in a place that you know they don't like you, so you gonna kind of lean into that. You're gonna lean into that.
Because like I don't recall like Celtics fans like.
Oh no, they hate that nigga. They hated Kyrie before the series. Remember when he first went to Brooklyn, when he first was traded, and they came and played Boston. He got booed. He got booed. They were saying he wasn't shit on Twitter. Like Kyrie, they do not like Kyrie. I have a friend who's a Celtics fan. He likes Kyrie, but he tells me like, yeah, there's a lot of people in Boston that do not like Kyrie at all. So it's like that kind of hatred for Kyrie has always been there ever since he left Boston, or I guess the way he left Boston, they always kind of felt a certain way about him, or when he comes back. So, I mean, like I said, like being an athlete, I get that edge. You kind of want to lean into it. You want to lean into the fact of like, y'all don't like me, so I'm gonna give y'all a reason not to like me, because that kind of, for some people, that fuels you. I mean, I've played games, and if people don't know, I grew up in the north part of Atlanta, suburbs. So I'm going to play sports against teams that don't like black kids. I played a lacrosse game where they called me the N-word. They barked at me like I was a dog. I was the only black kid on the field. And every time I scored a goal, I went to their field and I scraped my cleat on their logo. I did the same thing Kyrie did, and probably a more hostile environment than he did. The only black kid on the field. So it's like I get what Kyrie, if he was trying to do it to get a competitive edge, I get it, because sometimes that fuels you. The hate and love are like sort of the same thing. So it kind of fuels you to be better, because for that game, for me, that fueled me. Those people not liking me because I was a certain color, because I was different, that fueled me to play better. And maybe for Kyrie, every time he plays in Boston and they hate him and he does a scrape on their logo, that gives him, for him, he's like, oh, y'all hate me? I'm going to give y'all a reason to hate me? Oh, yeah, now I'm finna drop 40 on y'all.
Okay.
Y'all can't do nothing about that.
First of all, that's fucked up that happened to you, and I'm glad that you basically like you let them have it with what you did. But that's the circumstances to me is kind of different, because you was mostly like the only black kid out there. Kyrie is basically on a team with majority black men for the most part. Yeah. So my thing, and Terry Rozier, scary Terry. Terry Rozier was like one of the most popular players on the Boston Celtics during like that 2018 Eastern Conference Finals run.
Yeah, 2018 with him, yeah. Jaylen Brown and Tatum, yeah.
And that dude, he looks like, not to stereotype my own people like that, but like, come on, but he was beloved, like nigga. he was beloved in Boston. Kyrie Irving has always been like this little preppy dude from like New Jersey. His dad was from Mitchell's Projects in the Bronx, but he didn't really grow up in that type of environment. He went to Duke, and then over the course of time, he just became like this revolutionary warrior out of nowhere.
This man calling Kyrie Grant Hill. He calling Kyrie Grant Hill.
Yeah, I'm basically like, let's keep up.
He's basically Grant Hill at this point.
I'm basically calling him a square. That's what I'm calling him. Like, it is what it is. Like, he was a square. So it's like, all right, like, what reason does Boston not to like you when you first, outside the fact that, and don't get twisted, like Kyrie Irving, he basically called out the head coach. He basically called out his teammates. Well, in case we say that basically like the offense should run through him, like he should take more shots. He basically talk about how like there's like some, how he kind of try to play like the LeBron role. You know how sometimes LeBron James, he could like say some shit to the media to kind of like try to
LeBron has that luxury though, because everyone's
exactly. Kyrie thought he did, and the Boston media don't know that he don't have that. And so I guess that's what he got.
I think Kyrie for me on my list of one of my favorite players to watch play, and just as a person. If I ever get the chance to interview Kyrie, I will jump at the chance, because I think Kyrie is the most interesting person. But I think his downfall is that the couple of things for me whenever I get to interview Kyrie is to question him about that, is like, do you think your role is bigger than it actually is? Because when you play against LeBron James, and that when LeBron is your teammate, you see LeBron do certain things that a lot of people can't do. And I feel like when he was in Cleveland, he saw the way LeBron demanded for things, or the way basically certain things LeBron does that a lot of people can't. And I guess Kyrie felt like, oh, I was here before you, I can do that. And it's like, Bro, you're not LeBron. And that's okay though. It's okay.
It's like the whole Paul. It's like the whole Paul Pierce and Kobe. They were Paul Pierce. Like, I want to
like bro, you're not Kobe, bro. It's okay that you're not, but you're not Kobe, bro. Like and Kyrie, it's okay because you're Kyrie Irving. Like you don't have to. Like, you're Kyrie. Just be the best Kyrie that you can be. But you're not LeBron James. Like, LeBron James definitely, ask any NBA fan, he has a threshold or he has a luxury to ask, say, and do certain things because he is the face of the league. Kyrie, you're not there yet. Like, there's a lot. Honestly, right now,
I won't ever be. Honestly,
but the thing is, like, that's okay when we're talking about when we're talking about Hall of Famers. When we're like, yo, that's okay if you were the best. The league, like, you weren't the face of the league, but you were still a great basketball player and an all-star. That's okay. So my thing is, like, even when LeBron retires, there's a lot more people probably gonna take that spot, and it's not gonna be Kyrie, and that's okay. You have Luka Doncic when it comes to international players. You have Kevin Durant, who's still in the league. You have, I think, someone else. Sooner or later, Devin Booker. I feel like Devin Booker. Zion Williamson's washed. Anyways, what? That may be my first tech of this whole podcast, but I don't believe in the Zion hype. I don't believe in the Zion hype.
Where's Donovan when you need it?
For real. I mean, you have Joel Embiid. You have Anthony
Edwards. My man said Devin Booker, but not Zion.
Shout out to Atlanta's own Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, for sure. Like, there's a lot of players coming up right now that when LeBron retires are going to be first ballot for the face of the league, and Kyrie's name is not on that ballot, and that is okay because Kyrie is Kyrie. And if the Nets win a chip this year, I think Kyrie cemented his career. You know, if he wins another chip, he has two rings. 2 rings. So you got 2 rings when a lot of people don't have 1. 2 rings, a lot of All-Star appearances, and even if the Nets stay together and they're the new Golden State Warrior dynasty, and they win 3-4 chips together, after the 3rd or 4th one, Kyrie's good. Like, you had a great career. That's okay. So I think Kyrie, we have to ask Kyrie the questions like, do you think your role is to yourself? Do you feel like you have a bigger role than what is in the present right now? Because I feel like he thinks he has this big role where he can command certain things, and he just doesn't have that right now. And he doesn't have that.
Let him know every time that you're not him.
You're not him.
You're not him.
So it's like you have to ask yourself, it's like, yo, low key kind of ask himself sometimes, like, yo, am I doing certain situations? Do I do this to myself?
He definitely does it to himself.
Therapy.
He definitely does it.
You know, my ask is like, sometimes you cause these situations. And I think as a person, for growth, you have to understand sometimes you may cause certain situations. That's okay. You just have to grow from these situations. And Kyrie has to ask himself the same question, like, yo, am I kind of causing some of these situations to happen?
I think he is.
Just a thought.
Just like with this incident, like, as unfortunate as it was, I think he was the cause of it because, for one, before this series started, he basically called out the Celtics fans, which didn't need to happen, by the way. He basically wiped his floor over the logo. Didn't have to do that. A lot of shit that happens to Kyrie is his own doing. And he needs to stop playing the victim, like this whole woe is me type of thing, and try like put race into it. Because granted, like, I know that there's definitely racism in this world, and there's some racial elements happening within the NBA with some fan base. Utah Jazz fan base being one of them. But my thing is with Kyrie
being top 2, yeah, for sure.
For sure. But my thing with Kyrie is this. Is it more so racism is the fact that you don't like Boston? Is it the fact that you felt some type of way when that team basically went to the Eastern Conference Finals when you got hurt? Without you. You weren't there. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. The following year, you came back thinking that you was the man. Tatum, Jaylen Brown, them dudes, they didn't respect it. Y'all losing the second round, basically got washed by the Milwaukee Bucks. Following year, you're in Brooklyn. They go back to the Eastern Conference Finals without you. So is it rooted in that, Kyrie? Is that really what it is? And you just using this as just like a backdrop?
Yeah, pity party or like being petty or just being petty and being petty. Like y'all, I'm gonna do this because y'all did this without me.
Right. So let's be for real here, Kyrie Irving. Like, let's be for real. Because for every Kyrie Irving that claims that Boston is racist, you have Paul Pierce,
you have KG,
Roscoe Parrish,
Terry Rozier.
Isaiah Thomas loved it, Boston. He didn't want to leave.
Damn.
They did him dirty. They did him dirty after he still played after his sister got killed.
Isaiah Thomas, he found them white women. He found them white women in Boston and was like, yo, we lit. You know what I'm saying? We good out here. Bro, I'm good.
So, like, for every Kyrie complaint, there's plenty of examples from, like, our fellow black men that love the city of Boston.
Fellow black men. I mean, and I'm not going to knock any job opportunity I have if I ever want to work in the NBA mediascape, any team. You know, I love all teams. You know what I'm saying? I love every team. I don't mind being in Boston.
Great political.
But, I mean, for political reasons, for sure. But like, I get it. I mean, I get that certain things happen. There's a lot of players, like even Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is a quiet, like, even when you really look into the Boston thing, like
they love him
to have a player like Jaylen Brown. I mean, to have a player like Jaylen Brown on your team who's educated black dude, went to Cal, really intelligent, and is vocal about Black Lives Matter and plays in probably one of the most racist. I'm not going to throw that label on Boston, but a pretty prominent city when it comes to racial situations, when it comes to sporting events, to have Jaylen Brown play there, and Jaylen Brown really hasn't said too much on it, I think kind of says something. Like, it's there, but it's fixable because Jaylen Brown still plays it. Like, I feel like if it was overtly super racist, Jaylen Brown would be the first one to be like, hey, bro, like, nah, this ain't it. Like, this is not.
If I'm not mistaken, Marcus Smart had a racial incident in Boston. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that happened like what, a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah,
I remember. I think I know what you're talking about. I think that happened a while ago. Someone said something to him. I feel like someone said something to Marcus Smart. I think when he was like leaving the arena or something, and he like, and that I think it was like the ending of a game, and someone said something, and he had like a knee jerk reaction. And he kind of he had to be like held back. But
he still he loves it there though. He loves it there.
He's still there. He's still hooping for the Celtics. He's like, hey, yo, that money's still good.
He's a fan favorite over there. So like I said, for every Kyrie Irving, there's plenty of examples that a player that speaks to the contrary.
But the thing is, we can't diminish Kyrie's experience because Kyrie probably could have experienced some really racial undertones his time in Boston and his time in Brooklyn coming back to Boston. So so I'm not going to discredit Kyrie's experience. And there's a lot of players that also on the back for every KG and for every Marcus Smart, there are also others that like Marcus Smart or like Kyrie or somebody that has somewhat experienced a racist moment in Boston. So it's kind of 50-50. There's like, it's still like, both sides are right in a sense. Like, it's happened before.
Right. But like I said earlier, like the energy that you get is the energy that you put out. And Kyrie Irving put out a lot of negative energy towards the Boston faithful. And it's, to me, because since today's Memorial Day, shout out to all our veterans out there. Thank you for your service. But it'd be like no different, right? If I was to like complain about America, which I have every right to do, but if I was to take an American flag and wipe my nose with it, and then I have like a bunch of white people like coming at me, or even not so much white people, because black people serve in the military as well. But like, let's say for instance, on this example, like a bunch of white people, because it's white people that Kyrie's calling out in Boston. But if I was to like wipe my nose with the American flag, and like wipe my ass with some shit,
that boy said slat. He said slat with the.
and like
white people, we wax out with it.
And then white people coming at me, send me a whole bunch of death threats, call me a nigga this, nigga that. Or like I cannot get mad. I cannot get mad at them if basically because I gaslight the whole situation. It's no different here with Kyrie Irving.
I mean, that situation specifically is unique because we do live in a country where you have the freedom to do that. Like, there's the people have the freedom to
consequences that come with it.
I mean, for sure, but you do have the freedom to do that, and you do have to, I guess, adhere to the repercussions that do come with wiping your nose with the American flag. I mean, people have burned the flag. We have the right to do these things. So, I mean, like you said, you have to adhere to the consequences that do come with those actions. So, I mean, I get it. I mean, I get both sides, but I think I'm a stand with Kyrie on this one just because, like, I get it from an athlete. No. The only reason why I'm staying with Kyrie is because I get it from an athlete's point of view. If you're trying to get the mental edge, if you're trying to like lean into like the bad boy Pistons, how they leaned into being the bad boy Pistons, and Kyrie, like how I told you guys, it's entertainment, it's TV. There's a story arc. If Kyrie wants to be the villain of this year's playoffs and that story arc to make the series better, and he kind of leans into it to give that competitive edge, that's just what he does. Does that warrant people to throw things at him? No, and like you said, and I think you said you're like, yeah, and it still, I mean, it still doesn't warrant them to do that. I think we both agreed on that. Yeah, but I think where we differ is where, for me, I get it. I mean, I get some of it, and I also agree with you. Whereas, like, sometimes he kind of does invite this energy to come back at him. So I agree with you on that point, but I also understand Kyrie, where it's like, if you're an athlete, you're gonna taunt, you're gonna do things to, like, if they think you're a villain or if they don't like you already, you're going to lean into that villain role, because when you win and you beat them and I'm the villain and y'all hate me, that's it. I just get that. I get that point of view. So I think Kyrie, does he invite this negative energy, negative lighting? Definitely. I was gonna say sometimes, but definitely there is where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think when it comes to Kyrie, when you kind of engage a certain way, people will react. And like you said, like, you can wipe your nose with the American flag. You have that freedom, but you have to adhere to the consequences that come. So yes, Kyrie can, like, for me, you can lean into that villain role, but you have to adhere to whatever the consequences are. But there is a line to those consequences. You're in a sporting arena, you're at a sporting event. You can say all the shit you want to say. You can do but there's certain things you're just not gonna do. And disrespecting a player just as a human being, that just crosses the line for me.
That was definitely uncalled for. But I'll wrap up the whole Kyrie discussion by saying this. Now, Kyrie basically, he expressed his freedom to basically, like, he chose to wipe his sneakers on Lucky, the Celtics mascot. That's cool. He expressed his freedom. He dealt with the consequences. A fan threw a water bottle at him. The fan decided to throw a water bottle at Kyrie. That's his right to do so. I guess he felt offended enough to do so, and that's what he did. The consequences: he did a night in jail, facing felony charges. He can never go to another Celtics game again.
Was it worth it? Was it worth it?
Worth it. But
and then he missed. Like, if you gonna do all that and miss, money, like, you did all that and missed. If you gonna do it, you better connect. If you gotta commit, bro. If you go throw something, bro, you better hit him. You better connect or something. Like, you did all that.
Throughout all of this, with the whole Kyrie situation, with, like, the fan with the water bottle, Russ and the fan with the popcorn, was not those two instances were not the worst offenses over the course of this past week of playoff basketball. It happened at Madison Square Garden, where fans spat at Trae Young. Well, that's
a fire segue. Speaking of Trae Young,
during COVID at that, which is
during COVID, during a time where we still have to be required to wear masks, at least in New York. Atlanta, them niggas don't care. Atlanta been open since COVID. So if you're in Atlanta, you've been to 1145 Lounge, you've been to all the lounges, all the hookah spots still open. But speaking of Trae Young, spitting thing, we already know fans got a line, but I don't got my Trae Young jersey on. But I think my AC is at 66 just to commemorate that boy Ice Trae. Ice Trae the gang, Ice Trae.
I have to say, like, the Knicks is making me look real crazy right now, because during last week's episode, During last week's episode, I try to make a case for Julius Randle, not only just being most improved player, which I think he deserved, but for being an MVP candidate because the Knicks were basically picked to be like a lottery team going to the season.
Now you sound you. What were you smoking? I know New York just legalized weed, bro. Like if you went to a dispensary, just say that because this man said that Julius Randle deserved to be in the conversation. He's barely in the conversation now to be most improved, off this series.
I think he made more sense to Steph Curry in hindsight because Steph Curry's not in the playoffs.
You going down that hill, huh?
I'm gonna down that hill.
Of course you are.
And I don't mean to sound like a Knicks fan because I'm not. I'm a Mavericks fan and a Celtics fan.
Bro, choose a location. You in the South, you in the North.
Nigga, I know you're not talking, Mr.
What?
Nigga, you got like 3 NFL teams. Like,
whoa, bud. I'm a Chargers fan. I'm a fan of Chargers. I was a Jets fan when I was a kid. They irritated me. I've been a Jets fan all my life, but they irritate me. And like the Los Angeles Chargers are like the side chick that you got when your main chick basically are the Jets. You got your sunny, bubbly West Coast girl, and she chilling. So you go be in LA a couple of times to watch the game. Oh, that's wild. They actually go to the Super Bowl. And if she's enough to be the main chick, then she the main chick. That's how LA Chargers are to me right now. The Jets got to do better because if they don't, the side chick here look like damn near about to win a Super Bowl. So I don't know. That Chargers jersey may have to be ordered.
Who gonna
win the Chargers? The Chargers.
All right, we're not gonna drift far. So
we're not gonna do that right now. We're talking about Trae Young. Anyways, Trae Young, Knicks.
Yeah. Trae, the new Reggie Miller of the NBA.
Yes, the new Reggie Miller.
He basically at this point, like he's a villain. He's a villain at the guard.
Oh, he's a villain. The thing is,
my man got people spread COVID on him, like with no.
You have to understand, Trae Young is in Atlanta. He's in Atlanta because it's like I remember watching the first game they played in Atlanta. He got a foul. I think it was a dude named Bullock, and he got in his face. And Trae Young is like 6'1", 6'2". Trae Young is pretty, I guess, short for a point guard, and like Bullock is significantly taller than him. Trae Young looked at him and was like, "Yeah." He dabbed at John Collins. He said, "I was like, bro, he really in Atlanta, because if you know in Atlanta."
What you doing?
Hey, you say a little, hey man, I'm telling you right now, people in Atlanta,
but
they're not afraid of it. They're not afraid of that.
I give them that.
They're not afraid of it. So Trae Young definitely has been in Atlanta for a couple of years. Definitely has a Hellcat or two. You know, he tasted the lemon pepper wet. You know, from Hot Chicks in Atlanta. Shout out to Hot Chicks in Atlanta. They're good. Shout out to American Deli, but he had his batch of lemon pepper wet with a peach drink and some fries. So he's like, bro, I'm valid. Is Trae Young valid in Atlanta? We don't know yet, but definitely Trae Young, he has that attitude.
Wait, so he's not valid in Atlanta?
I think Trae Young is valid now that we're in the playoffs and now that he's like has that attitude. I think Trae Young is valid. I mean, I'm not the spokesperson from Atlanta. I'm from the suburbs. I'm gonna have to get one of my homeboys here from Atlanta to tell me. But for me, what I've seen, I think he's valid. That's just me. But I think Trae Young, he definitely has that attitude now.
So basically, Trae Young is like a bad game or two away from being like Julius Randle in New York, where like you're the toast of the town, and now we don't give a fuck about this nigga no more.
Nah, I mean, even when we drafted him, we all were like, "Oh, yo, he's a future." Like even when we drafted him, and he's had a couple games. Like his first year in Atlanta, he had to settle in. People were still kind of shaky about him. So I think we're past the whole we're past that. We've seen Trae Young have bad games and stuff, so we're kind of past that. We're now where he's kind of Trae Young is comfortable now with the team that he has, where he is himself and he can play as himself and is only up from here. So I don't think Trae Young that's disrespectful to Trae Young to even put Julius Randle in the same sentence as Trae Young. That's kind of disrespectful.
One was an all-star this year and the other wasn't.
Wow. But who's going to have more than one all-stars in his whole career? I think Trae Young. But that's just mine. This is probably going to be the first.
All right. First of all, they both play 2 different positions, so that's one. And 2 is based off of health. 3 is based off of team records. Now, I think the New York Knicks is more set up long term to be more so of a viable playoff contender than the Atlanta Hawks.
I see. I can agree with that.
Because the Knicks, they're gonna have the cap space very
I can
soon.
agree with that.
And all they basically need, all the Knicks are right now is a point guard and a couple of shooters away from being like a legit championship team. Julius Randle right now has proved that he cannot be the vocal point of a franchise.
Yeah, Julius Randle is a good number 2.
Yeah,
Julius Randle is going to be your Scottie Pippen. He'll yeah. I think Atlanta. If we're gonna flip it, I think Atlanta. If they even win this series, where they gonna play the Nets, that's not even. I'm a Hawks fan, but even
no,
that's gonna be
Philly next.
Philly. Oh, yeah. Someone said we play the Nets. Oh, if we play Philly next, that's gonna be interesting to watch. Anyways, that's gonna be interesting to watch. But
actually, I think it's not even gonna happen. Knicks in 7. Knicks in 7. It's not gonna happen. Knicks in 7. So we good.
Anyways, Trae Young. I think the Hawks, they need another big time scorer to help Trae Young. I think Trae Young has a good. I think the Hawks is a team full of role players. Besides Clint Capella and Trae, besides Clint Capella
right now, man.
I mean they're killing it. But I mean, when I say role players, it's not in a bad way. But the only stars, plural, I would say, again, Trae Young and Clint Capella. After those two, like Trae Young is going to guarantee you some buckets. Clint Capella is going to guarantee you some points in the paint for sure. After those two, Gallinari, it depends. John Collins, it kind of depends. DeAndre Hunter, dear God, it depends on a lot of shit for DeAndre Hunter to do anything. It just depends for the rest of them. I think the only other consistent one is, I would say, Kevin Huerter from outside, and maybe the guy from the Kings. I can't pronounce his last name, but Bogdanovic. Yeah, he has a pretty good 3-point percentage. So I think, again, it's a team full of role players. So I think the Hawks, if they want to get to that championship step, but I mean, and they're playing their role, and it's good, and they're playing good basketball. But to get farther in the playoffs, like they met their goal of, let's get to the playoffs. Okay, now we're here. Now we have to build to, let's get to the championship, because y'all in the door. Y'all have enough to get to the door, but you guys have enough to play a team like the Lakers or the Nets.
But you see, that's the thing with your fan base. Your fan base is very fair weather. Like how you said, like the goal, like, all right, cool, like y'all in the playoffs. It's unfortunate here in New York because the Knicks, let's be fair, the Knicks, they're not a championship contender. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Knicks fans, y'all not a championship contender. Y'all never was. Y'all wasn't going to the season, and y'all still not right now.
He said, "Hey, yo, pull up in my borough. We can talk about
it." Yeah, pull up to. We can talk about it. It's like, yeah, but the Knicks, it's unfortunate that here in New York City, the expectation is a championship or bust. Whether it's the Yankees, the Mets, not so much. Rangers kind of sort of, they're rebuilding right now. The Giants and the
Brooklyn Nets at this point.
Brooklyn, number to me, they'll always be the New Jersey Nets. To me, they'll always be the New Jersey Nets.
Every New Yorker says that. Even my friend was like, "Yeah, nah, they still the New Jersey Nets, bro. Like, there's nah, like nah, be like, I'm like, oh shit.
Like New York would prefer to be a Knicks town, or always prefer to be a Knicks city. But my thing is like, and this is the overall question for this topic here: is like, is the season a failure for the Knicks if they lose in the first round?
I think, to answer the question, I don't think it's a failure because it's a resurgence. I'm not a Knicks fan. I've never been to New York. I only got friends from New York, so I just live vicariously through them. But I think it's a resurgence of what the Knicks used to be when Melo was there, when they had a team, when they would be in the playoffs. So I think
before Melo got there, and Amari was having no squeak of like 30+ point games.
Amari said, he said, "Ooh," he said, "Those are the days."
Yeah, I was working at the Guard around that time. It was
man, I don't know. Do I think the season's a failure? No, I wouldn't say it's a failure. I mean, for New York standards, it may be a failure, but as an out-of-town basketball fan, is it an overall failure? No, because y'all used to be hot ass. Like, y'all used to be the laughing stock of the league. Low key still are, but y'all were a hot ass. And now y'all made the playoffs with Mitchell Robinson. I don't think Mitchell Robinson's playing. He's still a good center. Julius, you have a bubbling star in Julius Randle. Give him he got a couple years under his belt. And then if y'all draft well, yeah, and then acquire some people during free agency, yeah, like y'all do, like you said, y'all a few pieces away from being a contender. So is it a failure? No.
Not y'all. I'm not a Knicks fan now. I'm just making a case for them.
I mean, nigga, you in New York. I'm in Atlanta, so I can't say yo. I'm in Atlanta. I'm in the South. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Uh, but it's yeah. I think it's not a failure. I think it's just growing pains with growing as a team and finding like, oh, this works. All right, cool. Let's build on top of this. So it's not a failure.
Yeah, and plus, like this is the first playoff series for Trae Young. He's doing well so far. He's established. If this is this is basically what it's gonna look like for him in the future. He's gonna have a very solid legacy in terms of like playoff,
In Atlanta.
moments in Atlanta.
Yeah, and I feel like if Trae Young stays in Atlanta, and I feel like if they really give him weapons around
They could be
Trae
like the
Young
Golden State Warriors of the East.
of the South, I was about to say the Golden State Warriors of the South. If they give him weapons like Golden State gave Steph Curry, and they draft well, they can be the Golden State of the South. I can see that. And I feel like if Trae Young stays in Atlanta, his legacy will, like Atlanta's a loving city. Like we love Dominique Wilkins. We love, the highlight reel, the human highlight reel, and all of them. So I think,
I still love Michael Vick.
No, we still love Vic. Nah,
yeah,
I still
love it.
Oh yeah, we still love Vic. There's a Michael Vick. Nah, there's not a Michael Vick. There's a Colin Kaepernick Atlanta Falcon Memorial by Morehouse College. So I think don't do that, bro. that was during the time. That was you sounded so disgusted. You said why? Now that was during the time where Colin Kaepernick. That was like when he was freshly out of the league and people wanted the Falcons to pick him up. They kind of did that.
He got the afro.
Yeah, I got the afro. Hey man, come down to Atlanta and say that because they're gonna be like, hey.
I'm gonna be in Atlanta. I'm gonna be in Atlanta. Shameless plug. I'm gonna be in Atlanta later on this upcoming August for Tuck Fashion Week. So, all my Atlanta.
They gonna be on your head top. They gonna be on your head back. Well, yo, what you say, bro? What you say, cut? What? Nah, they gonna.
But like you said, like these guys are establishing their legacies. Julius Randle as well. This is his first playoff series. Hopefully, the first of many to come, and hopefully those performances will be much better than what he has shown thus far. Granted, it's not over. It's not over just yet. It's not over. You gotta win 4 games. We've seen plenty of series that were 3-1 where like the opposing team came back and won the series. It happened just last year with the Nuggets and the Clippers. So it could happen again. I'm just saying it could happen again. I'm just saying. But speaking of legacies, let's focus our conversation on 2 players that have firmly established their legacy as veterans in this league: CP3 and LeBron James. 2 guys that are playing in probably the most pivotal and the most critically acclaimed first round series thus far between the Phoenix Suns, headed up by Chris Paul, and the Los Angeles Lakers, headed up by LeBron James, the 4-time league MVP. Right now, the series is tied 2-2. And guys are banged up. CP3 played hurt, had his Willis Reed game. Anthony Davis, unfortunately, went down with a screen going in the first half yesterday. So it's looking like right now, LeBron James gonna have to carry the Lakers on his broad shoulders. He said like his shoulders are built for moments like this. So we'll see what happens there. But right now it's a 2-2 series. Pivotal game 5 is always the most pivotal in any series. But at this point, with CP3 representing the 2 seed Phoenix Suns, was like it's crazy. The Suns is probably like the most slept on 2 seed there ever was.
Ever.
It's like the underdog and shit. Like I picked them to lose this series when we first.
And they're the 2 seed.
And they're the 2 seed.
Disrespectful.
That's going to show like LeBron James, one of the top 5 best players in the league, and no, he's not 1, 2, 3, or 4 on my list. But
hey man.
But yeah, he's representing the 17-year Lakers. They're the defending champs. I guess you could say that LeBron's legacy is somewhat solidified, especially because he won a chip in LA. Because that's basically like the prerequisite to being like a Laker great. You gotta bring a chip to LA. He did that his first year. CP3 never won a chip. but this
Mhm.
might be like one of his last great opportunities to do so. He has a great young nucleus in Phoenix. But right now, the question that I present to you is, whose legacy is more at stake here? Is it CP3's or is it LeBron's? Because LeBron never lost in the first round.
Um, I'm gonna say LeBron, just because I think CP3's legacy for who Chris Paul was in the league already cemented.
Chris
He's
Paul's
gonna
legacy is
go.
already cemented.
I think cemented in the fact that he's gonna be like, he has all star. He has plenty of all star appearances. He hasn't won a chip. Probably gonna go down the list of one of the great point guards. Because I think, to me, in my opinion, he is. I mean, and I want to say the greats, like, oh my god, this man is like Magic Johnson time. Like, but he's gonna be on that list of point guards we look at, of like true point guards, like true point guards. Chris Paul's on that list for sure. So I think Chris Paul's legacy is somewhat summed up, but he still has some gas left. But I think this hurts LeBron more than CP3, because I think last year when he left the Rockets and he left the Thunder, we were like, oh, everyone was saying CP3 is done. They're like, oh yeah, he's done. Like, after he left the Rockets and he left OKC, everyone was saying, like, everyone kind of bowed out for him. Like, oh, he's done for sure. He's done. Everyone kind of really gave up on the Chris Paul championship ring situation. So Chris Paul's in a situation where a lot of people didn't think he would be in a team with a 2 seed. People thought he wouldn't even be playing right now. So I think he has. I won't say nothing to. I mean, I guess he doesn't really have anything to lose. I mean, he's the 2 seed. He's on a young team, a really good team that's playing well right now. Really ain't got nothing to lose. He's just playing ball. He hooping. I think LeBron has more to lose because, like you said, he hasn't lost in the first round before. You go to a big market like the Lakers, where you gotta win. Where you gotta win a chip. You won a chip last year. You're the returning champions, and you know what I'm saying, you're not the 1, 2, or 3 seed in the playoffs. Like, that says something. So I think LeBron has more to lose in this situation than Chris Paul does, for sure. Yeah. You hate we all. Oh, we're for everyone to know. Liddell has this not love hate, this hate relationship with Chris Paul for some odd ass reason. He
For
just
shit like this,
hates Chris Paul.
because I don't understand, and I'm hate that I'm in this position because I'm not a fan of neither one of these guys here, but I have respect for their talent, especially LeBron's. I don't understand how a man that's won 4 league MVPs, 4 championships, three, 4 championships, but with 3 different organizations. I don't understand how that man, basically with a team that's basically had little rust since the bubble, same with the Miami Heat, dealt with injuries. Anthony Davis, the best player on the team, is out right now. But yet his legacy is more at stake rather than the guy who's on the team with so much younger talent. A superstar Devin Booker whose game is kind of reminiscent of Kobe Bryant, except I guess less athletic. 2 seed in the West. Basically, the Lakers are hobbled. You knock them out. Most likely, you're gonna be the clear favorites to make it to the finals. Basically, at this point in time, you were an underdog 2 seed, but right now things have changed. Anthony Davis is hurt. Great, he's not out for the series. That's not has been officially ruled. Ruled. That has officially been
He hasn't
confirmed
been
that he's
ruled
out for
out.
the rest
Yeah,
of
he
the
hasn't
season.
been ruled out.
Yes, he hasn't been ruled out. But it's not a screen groin is like shit like that. Like it, that's not like a day to day type of thing. So I don't understand. Basically, like if anything, it's like all right, like these motherfuckers are wounded. Like, like you
Oh,
gotta
nah, for
smell blood
sure.
at this point. So like you
Oh
gotta get
yeah,
these motherfuckers out the way. So there's no excuse now. LeBron James is not the LeBron James of last year or 2 years ago or anything like that. Like he's
yeah.
showing signs of all the time. He cannot
He's he
dominate a game like he used to.
he's showing his age, and that's okay.
Exactly.
The thing is, like LeBron. I mean, even LeBron's 75% is better than a
how the
lot
fuck
of.
is LeBron's legacy more at stake than Chris Paul's?
But like I said, his legacy, like I said, like LeBron is on this pedestal of like you just said, he's on the Lakers. It's adamant that they win a chip. Last time I checked, they won last year's championship. So you're the reigning champs, and you're not the 1, 2, or 3 seed. And you got LeBron, Anthony Davis, got all these people free agency. I have never seen Serge Ibaka touch the court. I know Serge plays for the Clippers. My bad. Marcus all playing. You have a decent bench. KCP.
Bro, they're playing Marquee Morris right now, and I'm going to play like 4 minutes the whole series up until this point. They are searching for bodies. They might play.
Bro, they are McDonald's right now in the job market. Like, bro, we'll give you an iPhone, a MacBook at $15 an hour, bro. Just play, bro. Just do anything for us at this point.
Yeah, so it's like, how do you?
But like I said, I'm gonna just end this segment on the fact of like LeBron has more to lose because it's like you're supposed to win. Like you told us, like, I still got more in the tank. I know I'm 36. I know I'm whatever, but I'm still the best in the league. The Lakers need vintage LeBron James, where he took that trash ass Cavaliers team to the finals. They need that LeBron now. So it's like if he could pull it off, then LeBron still got it. And if he can't, LeBron has to come to the conclusion that age has caught up with me. And granted, he's still a phenomenal basketball player, but you can't do things the way you used to do them. You're not vintage LeBron. You're not the LeBron that you used to be, and that's okay. Because like when Mike went to the Wizards, okay, you Michael Jordan, but you're not the Mike you used to be. You know what I'm saying? So LeBron, is he coming out of his? This is to me is going to be it's going to answer the question of, is LeBron coming down from his prime? You know, can LeBron still do it by himself like he's done it so many times? If he can't, and he loses to Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton, to the Phoenix Suns, that is, like, is this the beginning of the end of like that era where LeBron can control the game by himself and he doesn't need anyone else to help him do that?
It is. I think it is. But the Lakers, they're just wounded animals right now. And to me, Chris Paul, you might not ever have a better opportunity
to get a chip.
Because that's the only team that you fear out west. It's the Lakers. You don't fear the Utah Jazz.
I'm not fearing the Clippers, bro. The Clippers barely hanging on to Luka Doncic, and it's just Luka.
You don't fear the Clippers because they're the Clippers. You don't fear my Mavericks. You don't fear the Memphis Grizzlies. You don't fear the Denver Nuggets. You only fear one man,
and that's the Phoenix Suns. Because Devin Booker going to drop like no. Anyway, we can talk about the whole Phoenix Suns for a whole episode. But
yeah, but I think CP3 like this show improved now. But
I feel that.
Yeah. But let's get into our final segment of today's show, the 2-minute drill.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening with Naomi Osaka? Because we mentioned her earlier.
Yeah, Naomi Osaka, with Coco, one of the bubbling young tennis stars, probably going to take over, probably going to be the face of tennis when Serena's done. I think it happened today. She just posted, or not she just posted, but she just released a statement saying she's going to, kind of bow out from the French Open. Because if you didn't know, like, I think yesterday or the day before, after her match, when she beat, I forgot the young girl's name, but she beat somebody, and she just didn't go to the press conference, even though when she went to the French Open, she told the French Open, as board, I don't know how tennis works, but like board, she said that she's not going to be doing any media, any press because of mental health reasons, and she just wants to play tennis, and that's it. She's like, I don't want to really talk to anybody about this. And I think I have the tweet right here where she said, I think before she got fined $15,000 for not showing up. So she didn't show up, even though she let them know that she wasn't going to show up, and they still fined her anyways. And then after that, she said, anger is lack of understanding. Change makes people uncomfortable. That's what she tweeted after she was fined.
I know she got bread at this point in time, but like she could have just played the whole Marshall on this day. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
But
She
the thing
could
is,
have just did
in
that.
tennis is different. In tennis is different because you can't do that. Like the thing is, in tennis, like I think
What?
Serena
John
just had a press
McEnroe did
conference
that.
today.
John McEnroe made a career out of ranting and doing shit like that. Granted, I guess he had the
But
complexion
see,
to do that. But
granted, you have two black women, a Japanese and Haitian, and a black American women.
what's it called?
Women,
Like
I might add. Shut up. Women, I might add. So it's obviously gonna be a negative connotation if they have that approach. If they approach in that way, obviously it's gonna be received negatively because one, they're women, and
yeah,
two, they're women of color. One again, like I said, one being Japanese and Haitian, and one being from Compton. Like obviously, it's going to be there's going to be a disgruntled with that. So I think so I guess my question is, do you think the mental health of athletes is more than the media, than actually doing media? I think we touched on this with Kyrie when he didn't want to do the media. So how do you feel about athletes when it comes to mental health and the media?
first of all, like I always say, your mental health is the most important thing because I always say like the best ability is not necessarily availability, it's mental stability. Because if you don't have a right state of mind, nothing else matters. So I just want to preface this by saying that with Naomi Osaka, like I hope that whatever it is that you're going through, hope you take care of that because that's most important. But I will say this about this generation, not to sound like the old head. I know that's one of my nicknames on this show. But it's like, is you think that like this is the only generation that had to deal with like mental health issues, and
Yeah,
I hate to be like that old man, like get off my lawn, but imagine like have to deal with like the shit that Jackie Robinson had to deal with, or like Hank
yeah.
Aaron, or like Bill Russell when he was playing for the Boston Celtics. You know what I
Oh
mean? Like
God,
you know,
Jesus,
like
that was peak racism. That
but
was
I'm like I'm getting like imagine dealing
yeah.
like during the era of, like Jim Crow and shit like this, like when Rachel Tench was at an all time high, and how that
Mm,
affected their mental health, but yet they continue and they persevered.
mm.
Like this generation, I just think like, come on, like we kind of stopped using this whole mental health thing as far as not talking to the media. Like sometimes you just gotta suck it up because I'm gonna tell you what, your problems don't go away from running away from them. Grant, that's not what I'm
Mm,
trying to say that she's doing. Cause maybe she's gonna take care of her mental health, like we
yeah.
suggested. But I think like, come on,
Mm.
like you cannot run away from adversity. You gotta embrace that shit head on.
I mean, I think mental health and racial injustice are two sides of a really drastic spectrum because mental health is a fight that you can only fight within yourself.
Right.
It's not a fight that you can physically see and try to fight. It's something within yourself you're trying to fight. As someone who's dealt with mental health, it's a fight you have to. It's a fight of self basically, and so I think Naomi Osaka is already a shy person. She's dating
Yeah.
Corday, and they're both pretty secluded and shy. Not shy, but really quiet and secluded people.
Yeah.
Um,
They're introverted people. So.
they're really introverted people, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I think for her, I'm gonna take the stand of the young Gen Z millennial kid, where it's like I think we're at a point where the younger generation is more vocal about how we feel because prior to that, the older generation, y'all didn't have that environment to be vocal about how you feel. Like I have my parents who are in their mid 50s. My dad, is public service. He was a police officer, fire marshal, and he's seen things and been through things that will, PTSD and that will, harbor on you. But he doesn't speak about it. And until I went to therapy and I told him about it, he started speaking about it. He never had the opportunity to speak about it. Same with my mom. So it's like the past couple of generations, they haven't had the opportunity to talk about it because you're fighting Jim Crow, you're fighting these things. So you're not really thinking about, I'm depressed. Like, nigga, I'm not trying to die today. I'm not worried about depression. I'm not trying to die when I go outside because of the color of my skin. So I understand that. But I think our ancestors did the work that they did so we can now as kids of color be in a place to where we can vocalize, okay, we still got to worry about being black in America, but we can now kind of have a conversation about mental health. So I think if I was a professional athlete, I would still take the side of Naomi Osaka because it's like, again, you have to look. You're looking at it from the perspective of you're just playing a game. You're not looking at it from the perspective of this is your job. Because whatever job I have, I know I'm not going to perform my best if I'm mentally not there. Like, when it comes to writing, reporting, or whatever, if I'm mentally not there to do my job, for me, I might as well just take a day off or just not do it because it's not going to be my best. So I think for her, I can relate to that where it's like I'm here to play tennis. I don't really want to talk to no one just because I'm not really there to do that. So I understand that, and I take the side of athletes that do kind of speak out when it comes to like, hey, and I feel like that should be a thing to where it's like leagues have to understand they're athletes, but they're still people and they still deal with things. And would you rather have Naomi on like painkillers or popping pills or something just to be awake and just to kind of get through this? Or would you rather, I'd rather her be more vocal about this is what I'm going through. And, like she did today where she's like, I just won't compete. I'm fine with that. And I feel like, like she has a multi-year Nike deal. She has a lot of deals. She's not really hurt for money. So she's at a point in her career where she's like, nah, I'm good. And she doesn't have to compete. And so it's like, that's, big ups to her. And I feel like a lot more athletes should speak on their mental health. Cause I think when Kevin Love does it, it's, we got to start a whole new branch in the NBA PA for athletes. But when a Kyrie or Naomi Osaka or
DeMar DeRozan's involved with that too, though, ain't he?
Not that I know of. I think it was just Kevin Love. I think
because DeMar DeRozan, he's like one of the biggest advocates of outside Kevin Love.
I think DeMar DeRozan and PG. The thing, but that's the thing. DeMar DeRozan and Paul George both spoke on that. But Kevin Love is still like front and center for it, which I'm not taking that away from Kevin Love because Kevin Love definitely went through some stuff, but it kind of you see kind of a pattern of like the response each person kind of gives when they advocate for their mental health, and I'm just going based off of the responses from fans in the audience of these athletes and when they speak up about it. So my thing is, shout out to Naomi Osaka. Shout out to Japan, shout out to Haiti, but I get where she's coming from, and I understand it, and I stand by her. Just I'm not gonna be a distraction. I'm gonna just leave because my mental, basically her state, basically what she did is like my mental health is more than what my job is right now, and I feel like that's what everyone should feel like because, like you said, your mental stability should be bigger than a lot of other things, and that should really come first. So.
For sure. One thing I would say about this generation that this is the generation that basically is like, I'm not gonna take no more shit no more. And I love that about this generation. But I will say this though, and this also goes for Naomi Osaka, like just whatever it is, just work it out. Don't let that be your crutch forever. Cause I feel like there's a lot of people out there that use mental health as like a get out of jail free card.
For sure.
So I feel like whatever's body, like get that shit ironed out ASAP as soon as possible.
Now there's a lot of ain't shit niggas. I know this is not a dating podcast. There's a lot of ain't shit niggas. Actually, not niggas. A lot of ain't shit people that use that as a crutch in relationships. So, like, I'm going to get help. I got a therapist, so you can't tell me. I meet with her every Wednesday. You can't tell me that I'm not. So yeah, just do something about it. Don't use it as a crutch because. No.
Exactly. Now, on a much lighter note, before we wrap up,
talking about crutches.
Who's gonna be in crutches?
Who's gonna be in crutches?
Like, who's most likely to get knocked out this Sunday? Is it?
That's a stretch. Yeah, that was a good.
Logan Paul against Floyd Mayweather, or Chad Ochocinco Johnson against Brian Maxwell?
I'm going to keep it short and sweet because this is turning into a 20-minute drill, but I'm keeping it short and sweet. I'm gonna just say Floyd Mayweather is going to do what he's been doing. That's why he's 50-0. He's gonna play. This is not a real fight. I don't know. Everyone's gonna come in with the expectation like, oh, Floyd gonna knock him out. Woo woo. This is not even a real fight for any championship. Floyd even said it himself. I'm getting the bag. That's it. Floyd's gonna come in, run around the ring a little bit, do a little whoop, whoop, whoop. He'll probably throw a handful of punches, survive the rounds, win or lose. I don't even think he's losing, but he's not gonna lose. But this is not gonna be a. I don't want people expecting this to be a, yo, we finna. So it's a knuckle team. Like, yo, fam, yo, we're gonna, like, no, he's gonna do what he does. He's gonna play defense, play the points game, win, get the bag, get out of there. Chad Johnson, the undercard fight. I think that's gonna be entertaining to watch.
That's
Chad Johnson is
the most.
Chad Johnson is a
I've never seen
athlete.
Chad fight before.
I have not seen. We need to get Chad Johnson on the podcast, but Chad Johnson.
Hit my line, Ocho.
Oh, we got to reach out to
1855.
We got to reach out to Ochocinco for sure. I want to interview Ochocinco for sure. But Chad Johnson as an athlete, freak athlete. I think he played professional soccer. I think he did that for a little bit. I think it's gonna be a decent fight because Ochocinco is in shape. He's not out of shape. And I feel like if he's been training for this, it's gonna be interesting to watch. I can't really tell you who's gonna win and who's not gonna win. I just know it's gonna be an interesting fight.
Yeah. But do you have a prediction as far as, like, do you think Chad wins or does Chad get dropped?
I don't think Chad gonna get dropped. I will say it goes to like a scorer's decision. I don't think Chad Johnson gets dropped.
I agree with that because, like you said, at the end of the day, like, this is not this is basically gonna be like scripted here. So I feel like both guys are gonna work it out because Chad, he has a brand to protect. I guess this Brian Maxwell guy, who's basically someone that none of us heard of, he doesn't want to get embarrassed by a former pro football athlete.
Yeah.
So I feel like they'll work something on that regard. As for Floyd and Logan Paul, I think Floyd drops him. TKO.
My thing is, if Floyd drops him, Floyd's the GOAT. Not even because he dropped like Logan Paul. He's already the GOAT, but it's gonna be fire just to see Floyd. Because Logan Paul is 6'3" something. Like, you got the GOAT knocked you out, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think Floyd will knock anybody out. He hasn't knocked anybody out in a while. So I don't know about that.
Knockout was Victor Ortiz, and that was
how long ago was that?
Over 9 years ago.
Exactly. So the probability that he knocks him out is low, but
that was a lucky. That was lucky. Just that Victor Ortiz dropped his guard and Floyd was just like two-piece.
But I just think it's gonna be, again, this is just entertainment, man. This is just entertainment purposes, pay-per-view purposes. So I just think people gotta stop expecting much out of these fights because they're just entertainment at the end of the day. So
exactly. All right, bro. It's about that time for us to plug ourselves on the way out of here. So let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
You can, like, if you're new here to Outta Bounds podcast, you can follow me at Austin at every social platform. TikTok, I don't be posting TikToks like that, but I be on TikTok lurking. I be looking at videos. TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, all that stuff. Just Austin. I got some true urban culture articles coming out about Kyrie, about the NBA, about fashion, whatever you like. But if you dislike, I got you. I'm gonna hold it down for you on the editorial side. So I got some of those coming out. And I may be in California for a little photography situation. So be on the lookout for that too.
Okay, dope. All right, so I'm gonna plug Donovan since he's not here. Mr. Donnie, don't call him Donovan. Check out his articles coming out. I believe he's working on a piece in regards to like the Mount Rushmore of hip hop, like who belongs at the fourth face of this past decade. So look out for that. And as for me, you know who I am, Liddell the Fashionista. You can follow me there. But what I would love for you guys to do the most is this: like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. That way you're notified anytime we go live or we publish a new video. And also share this with your network. Help us grow our Tuck family. Be a part of our True Urban Culture Tuck family, and let's just rock out together. All right, so once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Stay tuned next week for the big three. We'll be back in full effect for all three of us. And as we always do over here, with our conversations, we always go take it out of bounds because that's what we do. We give it to you raw and uncut. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch y'all next week. Peace.